Okay, sige, may gabi madunggan ba ko?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Wala ba ga echo, wala okay ra. Klaro ra akong voice.
Okay na, sir.
Yes, sir.
May lang ha.
Hoy!
Palihog ko og change sa inyong mga pangalan kay I will be mag-screenshot ko sa mga naa diri. Palihog ko katong mga pangalan nila is not their real names, no? Would like to ask you to change your name so that I can properly check those who are present tonight. Okay, dunggan mo ko?
O, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Yup.
Duha mi nagamit ani sa akong kuan, sir, Zoom. Kami duha ni Gato.
Masigat to. Napa mo sa eskwelahan?
Na diri, sir.
Sir, na ako diri, sir. Nag-uban, sir, Sally og Sigato.
Sige, malihog ko sa katong mga uban, no? Especially those I have made co-host to please help me accept others, no? Katong ga-join pa. Si Jetro. I think Jetro Aneros.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Sorry kayo for this inconvenience. For some reasons, I cannot go to Nasiki tonight. But I felt the urgency to have a class on you. Anyway, this class is recorded. So you can review this from time to time. Okay? Sige, magsugod ta. No? One of the first topics as we discuss economics, basically for the past 2 meetings na nakig-uban ko sa inyo, it's more on the introductory part. No? Karon, this is the first topic and we will be discussing concepts of the law of supply and demand. No? The law of supply, when we talk about supply, it refers to the provision of goods and services to the market. No? When we talk about demand, no, it refers to the desires and the ability of people to buy a certain goods or service in the market. So, ingon supply and demand, the law of supply and demand is a theory that explains the interaction between the sellers of a resource and the buyers of that resource. So, there is a supply and demand. We will try to look at the relationship of how certain factors affect the decision of the sellers to supply a good, or how certain factors affect the decision of the buyers to demand for a good, no? Dili lang we will not just look at prices, but we will also look at other factors nga makaapekto sa supply ug sa demand. But the general rule, no, as price increases, people are willing to supply more, no? Kung taas ang presyo, ang mga mamaligya ay ganahan mamaligya. Tungod kay mas dako ang presyo coming and demand less, kung taas ang presyo, gamay ra pud ang mopalit, no? Gamay ra, and vice versa when the price falls. So, kung basically, ang general rule, kung taas ang presyo, ang mga supplier, ganahan sila mo supply. Then, ang mga tao, dili sila ganahan mo palit. No? Dili sila ganahan mo demand. So, that happens when price increases. So, kung balipod, if price falls, kung muubos sa presyo, what will happen? Sellers are not willing to supply, no more. And the demand will be high kung muubos ang presyo. O bitaw nang during sales, no? Unang during sales, na mga sale, na mga markdown, it's because the supply is greater than the demand. And the only way nga ang supply makrot is to let the price fall. So, what is demand? Okay. Lloyd, si Lloyd Calzada. Hello. What is demand?
Sir. Demand is the desire, willingness, and ability to buy a good or service.
Okay. So, ang demand is a desire or willingness. So, nakay kagustuhan, no? Nakay kagustuhan palit sa isa ka butang. O kung dili siya matawag og demand kung wala kay ability to buy, no? Kung kagustuhan ra, it's not a demand but a desire. Kung plus demand plus the ability to buy, so take note, it is important nga naay demand, naay desire, and there is also ability to buy a good or service. So, supply can refer to one individual consumer or to the total demand of all consumers in the market. So, based on that definition, so, kaning tulo, sige, may ask, Sheena Fuertes? Sheena, kaning tulo ka picture dire, which of the following do you have a demand for?
Ko answer. Ano man ni? Cellphone? Ay.
Based on the definition. Cell phone, sandal, or a car. Based on the definition of the demand. Unsa tong sa demand, dapat na kay desire, na kay kagustuhan, and you have the ability. So, asa man diri ang demand?
Ko answer. Ang sa tulo sir kay naa sir pod ay ang kanang tulok sir kay naa kay na may kuan uban ay nga kanang willing mo palit og kanang mga cellphone,
Yeah.
shoes.
The question is, based on the definition of the demand, kay dapat sa demand na kay desire and na kay ability to buy para makonsider ang isa ka item nga imong gidemand. Kaning tulong nga naa sa picture, which among the three do you consider nga naay demand sa imuha? Kaya ang requirement, na kay desire and willingness to buy, and na kay ability to buy.
Kuan shoes sir. Kanang sandal.
Kaning sandal. Ngano ang sandal man? Because
Kay sa
gusto
akong
kag
karon
sandal, then
sa ako karon sir gusto kog sandal o kuan pod sir, mura po'y makaya sa budget kay mas barato kaysa
Yes.
kanang tulo.
Yes. So, a demand, ang to be a demand, the requisite it should have, you have a desire and you have the ability to buy the goods or service. Okay?
Yes sir.
Okay. A demand schedule is a table that lists the various quantities of a product or service that someone is willing to buy over a range of prices. So, ang demand schedule daw, naglista niya kung pila ang demand sa isa ka item considering the price. So, sige, may I ask Arnel Bagu. Are you there, Arnel? Arnel Kamisola? Kilio?
Sir, good evening.
Hi, good evening, Winsilin. What did you observe in the price and the quantity demanded based on this demand schedule?
Ang sa price per gadget, sir, ako nakuan kay paubos ay lagi nya din sa quantity kay mo fair.
Oh, yes. Unsa may? How about their relationship? Can you tell me what can you observe in their relationship? Samtang nagkagamay ang presyo, what happens to the quantity demanded?
Nagkagamay pud siya, sir. Nagkadako ay sorry.
Okay. What happened?
Presyo
Winsilin,
nagkaubos, sir, magkadako ang iyang quantity.
Yes, very good.
Ay.
Thank you, Winsilin. So, as the price decreases, the quantity demanded increases. So, kung ato ning i-plot, no, if we are going to plot this, no, or the demand schedule can be shown as points in the graph. So, the graph, so kung ato ni i-graph, we list the prices on the vertical axis, meaning sa nagtindog, and the quantities demanded on the horizontal axis. So, kung balikan na to, kaning prices, we'll plot this on the vertical axis, no? The price is 5 and the quantity demanded is 2. When the price is 4, the quantity demanded will be 4. When the price of the gadget is 3, the quantity demanded will be 6. And when the price is 2, the quantity demanded will be 8. When the price is 1, the quantity demanded would be 10. So, mabitaw na, no? Very common example, ani. Kung na-ay sale ang isa ka store, many people would come and buy, no? Na isa ka store diri sa Butuan, Balig TV at 5,000, no? Munang gidugok sa mga tao. Eventually, what happened? Gamay ra nga tao ang naka-avail because the demand was so high. So each point on the graph is how many units of the product, service, an individual will buy at a particular price. So, makita na to dire, when we plot it, no? Kung ato i-plot, this is the graph, no? At price 5 pesos, no? Muna ito makita. Oh, sorry. At this price, 5 pesos, the quantity demanded is 2, no? Muna ang nasa atong demand schedule gani at price 4 pesos, the quantity demanded is 4. At price 3 pesos, the quantity demanded is 6, and at price 8, the quantity demanded, at price 2, the quantity demanded is 8, and at price 1, the quantity demanded is 10. So, as Charlene Ibanez Malinaw, are you there, Charlene? Wala nang labas siguro. Brandon. So kani siya kaning mga points, no? We refer to this as points, no? These are points of our graph. Muling giingon ganina, no? Each point on the graph. So we refer to this points, and then the line that is the demand curve, no? Kanang line, kanang orange line, that is the demand curve. Christine, Angeli, Alindog, what do you notice about the demand curve? Ba si Christine? Wala gihapon. Si Doria? Okay, all of this, these are recorded.
The more.
The less than.
The less.
What Sid, what do you notice about the demand curve? Unsa man ang demand curve dingo ganin is the line. Unsa man ang line? What is
Sir, ako to
the
sa Doria, sir.
Oh, yes. What is the orientation of the line?
Ano?
Pakakuan, sir. Slant.
Paslant, is it going upward or downward?
Downward, sir.
Oh, okay. The demand curve, no? The demand curve is downward sloping, no? Munang as the price increases, the quantity demanded of the certain product decreases, no? As price increases. So therefore, our demand curve is downward sloping. So do you think that price and quantity demanded tend to have this relationship? Yes. The relationship between price and quantity demanded is inverse. Subot pasabot, inverse, meaning kumusaka ang presyo, muubos ang quantity demanded. So they are going through the opposite side. So that is the relationship for our demand. So here, no, the demand curve slopes downward. It shows that people are normally willing to buy less of a product at a high price and low of a product at a low price. According to the law of demand, quantity demanded and price moves in opposite direction. That's why I told you earlier, the relationship between price and quantity demanded is inverse. Inverse ang yung relationship because as the price increases, the demand for quantity decreases. So, dire, no? In economics, no, we have this principle of ceteris paribus. Pasabot sa ceteris paribus, assuming other things are constant. So in the law, in our law of demand that we mentioned a while ago, no, nga ningon tag quantity demanded and price as the price increase, the quantity demanded decreases. So if, as we state that, no, we assume that other factors are constant. We just consider the price as the factor that affects the demand. Other things are constant. Why? Because there are other demand. So, under the ceteris paribus assumption, no, assuming other things are constant, price and quantity demanded are inversely proportional. So remember inversely proportional. But pasabot, when one increases, the other decreases. So here, no? Unsa may reason? What is the reason why buyers demand for a product more, no? We buy products for their utility. Unsa man ang utility? Kagamitan niya sa ato. No, kagamitan niya sa ato, and the pleasure or the usefulness or satisfaction they give us. So based on this, no, Vilma Joy, based on these three items, which is more important to you, or which item are you willing to pay more? Asa man aning item ang willing ka mo bayad? Hello? Wilma? Wala. Okay, sige. Wala. Wednesday. Okay, wala nag-mute.
Ambulansya or ano?
Okay. So, wala si Wednesday gihapon. Okay. Siguro kung lalaki ka, dili gid ka mo ingon no nga ang bag ang naay utility sa imo. So you would go to the jersey. But kung babae ka, no? You will think nga dili ang makahatag sa imo og maximum utility jersey, but you would prefer the bag. So basically the point is from person to person we have different perception of utility. Lahi-lahi tag panglantaw sa butang nga makahatag sa tug kalipay atong magamit, and we are satisfied of what the product give us. So mo nang basically during your first activity when I ask you to plot your spending habits, no? You have different spending habits among your classmates because we perceive the products that we buy, the items that we buy based on their utility, kung unsa sila kagamit sa atoa. So here, no? One reason the demand curve slopes downward is due to diminished utility. So the principle of diminishing marginal utility says that our additional satisfaction tends to go down as we consume more units. So we will talk about this, no, in the concept of utility in the next meeting. To make a buying decision, we consider whether the satisfaction we expect to gain is worth more than the money we give up. So before ta mo palit og more, ato say consider nga ang kwarta ba nga ako magasto for this item, worth it ba siya sa akong makuha ang item, di ba? So ako makuha sa product na akong gipili. So basically one driver of the change in demand is utility. So munang bisag mahal mo palit ta, munang may mga tao nga bisag mahal ang isang item, they tend to buy because it offers a greater quality, no? So next. Okay. So change at price 3 pesos, no, makita na to dire at price 3 pesos, at 3 pesos kani, the quantity demanded is 6. An increase in the price of 6 to 4, so nisaka ang price from 6 to 4, will lead to decrease in the quantity demanded to 4. So, dire na that the changes when there is price increase, the change in the curve is left to the left sloping upward, no, to the left. So nigamay man ang price, if the prices change to the left, or if the price goes upward, the quantity demanded moves along the left side of the demand curve. So sige. So kato ganina si Tires Paribus ang assumption, assuming that price is the only factor considered in the demand curve. But there are other factors, no? Nay other factors that will also shift the demand, no? Nay mga lahi-lahi nga mga reasons why there is shift of demand. So number 1, pwede kani siya, this is summarized as biter, no? Dili bitter, biter. So, these are factors that shift the demand curve. Nga dili presyo ang hinungdan, no? So, pwede makaapekto ang sa demand ang number of buyers. So, kung mo-increase ang number of buyers, what happens to the demand?
Decrease.
Pag mo-increase ang number of buyers, what happens to the demand? Louis?
Decrease, sir.
Increase. mo increase po ang demand. Kay mo daghan man ang buyers. So, pag mo decrease ang number of buyers, what happens to the demand? Mo decrease po. So, kani siya nga factor, kaning other factors that affects our demand curve, no? Dili na ni siya necessarily mo follow sa atong principle ganina of the price. Kay price man to atong gitan-aw sa law of demand. So sa income, how about sa income? Changes in consumers' income. So kung mudako ang imong sweldo, basically, mudako ang sweldo sa tao, the demand for goods and services will also increase. Kung mugamay, mo decrease pod. Taste and preferences, no? Kung ang tao want that product, mas ganahan sila ana nga product, no? One example ani kanang halo-halo sa Buena Vista when it started, no? People loves that halo-halo bisag na sila ang taga-Butuan bisag na sila mapalit nga halo-halo sa ila pero mas mo prefer man gid sila sa halo-halo sa Buena Vista. So as a result, ni-increase ang demand for the product. Then expectations. Changes in what consumers expect to happen in the future. Kung sa example ani during the pandemic, no? There are so many people katong gi-announce na nga nanay ECQ na we have to stay at home. People naay nahitabo nga panic buying sa tao. So as a result, taas kayo ang demand sa mga sardines, sa mga canned goods kay people nanay panic buying nga nahitabo. Then another factor that will affect the demand is the prices of related goods. Unsa maning mga related goods? Duha ka klase ang related goods, complementary goods and substitute goods. So let us see the example sa substitute goods. So unsa maning substitute goods? An example is a product that can be used in place of another. So example, ang gihatag na example is Coke and Pepsi, no? Substitute goods. The price of the substitute good and demand for the other are directly related. So kung ang isa ka goods, no? Kung ang Coke musaka ang presyo, ang the possibility that Pepsi will also increase the price. So or mo increase pud ang demand, mo increase ang demand sa Pepsi. Kumusaka ang price sa Coke, no? Sa may unsay line example ani, kumusaka ang presyo sa bugas, di ba? That is very true. That is very timely in the situation today. Pagsaka sa presyo sa bugas, what are substitute goods for rice, no? Mais. So nahitabo pod ang presyo sa mais o ang demand sa mais misaka because mais is a substitute for rice, no? Sa mga complementary goods, these are goods that goes well with another good. But pasabot, dili nimo magamit ang isa kung it complements one another. So example, TV o remote, di ba? Kung na kay TV, dapat na po kay remote. So kung mo taas ang presyo sa TV, ang tendency, maubos ang demand TV, maubos po ang demand. So same with peanut butter and jam. So this, no? Dumdumin ninyo ni other factors other than prices that affects our demand. So kung diri nyo makita, no, tanawa. Example, suppose customer income increases. So nisaka ang income sa mga tao, let's say, from 350 nga minimum wage, gipasaka to 600. That is only an example. So may tabo, at price 5, no, mo ni ang original nato nga demand curve. Karon nisaka man ang income sa mga tao. So may tabo, people now have more capacity to buy. Mas taas ang ilang capacity to buy. So at price 5, sa una they are just demanding 2, no, at price 5, 2. Pero karon tungod kay ni sa ilang income, at price 5 they are willing to buy 4, no? So kaning example, this is an example of a gadget, no? At price $5, duhara ang demand. Pero kay ni-increase man ang income, bisan pag $5 ang nahitabo, the demand increases to 4. So makita nimo nga the increase in demand is rightward, no? The increase in demand is rightward. It shifts the entire demand curve to the right. So sa una, at price $1, they are willing to buy 10. Pero kay nisaka man ang presyo sa ilahang, nisaka man nila income, wala man na bago ang presyo. Di ba ganina, kaninga demand curve, the reason why there is change in the quantity demanded primarily because of the change in the prices. However, when other factors will change that is not related to the price, ang mahitabo, it would shift the demand curve to the right, no? One example ani, kumusta ka ang income. Another example, kanos aman mo saka ang demand curve ani nga product, change in preferences, mas gipili nila, no? Mas gipili nila isa ka item. The more they choose one item at a price, let's say this is an example of a gadget, let's say mas mo prefer ang tao o Realme, no? So at price 5, tura ang initial demand, pero because of their change in preferences, mas ganahan sila mo palitan ang phone. So mabag-o ang quantity demanded even without the change in price. Moto ganina, it is important that under the price factor of the change in demand, we consider the assumption of ceteris paribus, assuming other factors are constant. So, another case, no? Kung suppose ang gadgets wala na kaayo na himong popular, no? Kay naay bag-ong discovery, naay cellphone nga dili na kinahanglan, or naay bag-ong discovery that will substitute the gadget. So, may tabo, at the same price, no, mo ni ang original demand. Kani, this is the original demand. This is your original demand. So, if, let's say, ang gadgets, because this demand curve or this graph is in relation to a gadget. So, kung mabag-o, gadgets become less popular, no, dili na kayo sikat, may tabo, it shifts the demand curve to the left. So sa una, at price 5, people would want 2. Pero karon at price 5, dili na ganahan ang tamo palit. Sa una, at price 4, people would want 4. Pero karon at price 4, na lang ilahang gusto. So, these are factors that affect the demand curve other than prices, no? Dili lang presyo. So next. So here, no, makita na to, decrease in demand, kumuubos ang demand, shifts to the left side. So to decrease demand curve, the curve shifts to the left. So less demanded at each price. If increase in demand, shifts to the right, no? Mas daghan ang gidemand at each price. So ako lang gisummarize sa akong explanation ganina. So that's the concept of demand. So, review on sa mga factors that affect demand, buyer, no? Buyers, number of buyers, income, taste, expectation, and related goods. Unsay law of demand na to, assuming the ceteris paribus assumption, if all other things are constant, price and quantity demanded are inversely proportional. When price increases, the quantity demanded decreases. Let's go now to the law of supply. Supply refers to the various quantities of a good or service that producers are willing to sell at all possible market prices. So, basically, so ikaw na maligya, no? You will also look at the supply side, kung pila ang imuhang i-supply. One factor you consider is the price, no? The price. Nga naman, kay, basically, ganina no, giyon ako, if mas dako ang presyo, mas dako og ginansya. And then, suppliers are marketing to sell. Supply can refer to the output of one producer or the total output of all producers in the market. So, kanang ginabaligya nila, ginamanufacture, ginahimo, or ginapalit sa lain, supplier, no? That is referred to as supply. So, here, no? This is the supply schedule. Is a table that shows the quantity the quantities producers are willing to supply at various prices. Sige. Donna Rose, are you there, Ma'am Donna? Ano si Fideline? Fideline? Wala, gihapon. Tulog na siguro. Fideline. Sige. Okay, Fideline. What can you observe in the relationship of the price and the quantity supplied?
Kuan sir, ang price per kanang gadgets kay nagkaubos din ang kanang 5 ay lagi kanang price gadgets sir kay nagkaubos na sa din ang kanang quantity nagkaanam og kataas ang supply.
Uy, tanawa, nagkaubos ang presyo,
Sa-
ya nagkaanam og kataas ang
Ay,
supply.
ang kuan sir, ang kanang
Sige. Tanawa. At price 5, pila man ang ilahang supply? Pila man
kuan sir,
ang
ang price 5 ay kanang kuan kay price 5 kay ang ilang supply kay 10,
at price 4, pila man?
ang for 8 sir, ang kanang price
Okay.
3 kay 6.
Okay, what have you observed in the relationship?
Wait lang sir.
Ha? Samtang nagkagamay ang presyo, nagkaunsa man po ang quantity supplied.
Murag
Daghay
nagkataas.
sir.
Dagan
Ha? Nagkataas?
ko, sir.
nagkagamay sir, nagkagamay.
Okay, nagkagamay po. So, as the price increases, the quantity as the price decreases, the quantity supplied also decreases. So that is the relationship that we see, no? So based on the supply schedule, no, we will now plot the graph. So the graph, no, the same, ang quantity supplied, we plot it on a vertical axis. On the quantity supplied, we'll plot it on the horizontal axis. The prices, we'll plot it on the vertical axis. So each point of the graph shows how many units of the product or a service provider would be willing to sell at a particular price. So ang line that connects the point is called the supply curve. Okay. Justler, are you there, Justler? Wala. Eljan?
Yes, sir.
So ganina
Good
mo
evening.
you know. What can you tanawa ang demand ang supply curve? Unsa may
Kuan,
na-observe nimo sa line?
Kuan, sir, ang kuan niya, pa-upward.
Pa-upward. Yes.
Yes,
The
sir.
supply curve is moving to the right, sloping upward, no? Moving to the right, sloping upward. So nakita na to ganina, no? In our supply schedule that when the price is 1, quantity supplied is 2. No, when the price is 2, quantity supplied is 4. When the price is 3, quantity supplied is 6. When the price is 4, quantity supplied is 8. When the price is 5, quantity supplied is 10. So, dire makita nato that the supply curve is moving to the right side upward, no? It's moving to the right side upward. So, what is that relationship? Say tawag ana nga relationship kanang pareha mo. Pareha, kung mutaas ka, mutaas pud siya, no? As the price of goods rises, the quantity supplied rises. So that's the law of supply. Samtang magkataas ang presyo, magkataas pod ang quantity demanded. As the price falls, no, kung muubos pod ang presyo, the quantity supplied falls and the quantity demanded rises. So, pagsaka daw sa presyo, ganina no, atong gi-connect ang supply and demand nga law. Ganina, ingon ta nga, price has inverse relationship with demand. But price has direct relationship with supply. But pasabot, kung musaka ang presyo, if the price increases, the supplied also increases. So pagsaka sa presyo, isaka po ang supply because they have direct relationship. But ang demand since they have inverse relationship, no? As price increases sa pagsaka sa presyo, the quantity demanded also falls. Therefore, imo pong makita dire, the supply and demand has inverse relationship, no? Kumusaka ang supply, muubos ang demand. So kung muubos ang supply, as we draw to will normally offer more for sale at higher prices and less at lower prices. So kung mas dako ang presyo, they are willing to sell more than in lower prices. So, there under the introduction, the reason the supply curve slopes upward due to cost and profit. So, ano man, because once producer sells more, they also earn more. So the way they can earn more is when they are able to sell the products at a high price. So producers purchase resources and use them to produce output. Producers will incur costs as they bid resources away from their alternative use. So, no ato makita dire, change in the supply curve due to price occurs along the supply curve. So ang change of price happens, no? Ganina, pag price ang reason sa change in the quantity demanded, ganina, it also, the change happens along the supply curve. Gano man? Because the primary factor, naman sa supply curve ang change, makita ninyo, from $1 to ang gidemand, there is a $2 for ang gidemand. So, sa $3, 6 ang gidemand. So, makita as price goes downward, what happens to the quantity supplied? It moves to the left. No, it moves to the left. So, law of supply, considering ceteris assumption, no? Sa itong ceteris paribus, other things are constant, no? Other things are constant, price and quantity supplied are directly proportional. In other words, when price increases, quantity supplied also increases. When price decreases, quantity supplied will also decrease. But there are also factors, no, sama sa demand, there are also factors that could affect our supply. And we summarize this, that would affect the supply side other than prices. No, there are factors. Kaning mga factors, they affect the supply side other than the price. So, Stoner. Number 1, subsidies and taxes. So, pag maghatag ang pag maghatag ang gobyerno og subsidy, what happens, no? Pag maghatag ang government og subsidy, it encourages production. Kay daghan man ang mo willing to buy. Munang during the pandemic, no? During the pandemic, in order to spur economic growth, para mutaas ang level sa supply, also to spur supply, para mo increase ang supply in the economic market, unsa ginabuhat sa government, naghatag sila og unconditional transfer of funds, katong mga ayuda, no? Tong SAP, the Social Amelioration Program. Those are interventions of the government to help the economy recover, no? Ang government po, they will also impose taxes to discourage production. So sa may ani, no, katong atong mga sigarilyo, ang presyo sa oil and the sugar, no? Ang sugar, kabantay mo sa Coke, mas di mahal siya karon because the government provides additional taxes for these items, no? Kay gin-discourage ang consumption sa mga tao. Technology. So kato ako ngayon ganina, if you remember last meeting, if you remember, katong laundry o katong car wash. So kung naay improvement or development in the technology that would help businessmen or suppliers improve the supply chain, no, mas mudaghan, they would become more productive. Let's say na sila'y bag-o nga technology nga instead 500 ra ang ilahang mahimo, they can make 1,000, no? That would also increase the supply. Other than price, other goods, business consider the price of other goods before they would produce it. Also, number of sellers. So, number of sellers, they also affect the supply side, di ba? Kung mas daghan mo na maligya, so ang tendency, dili kayo daghan ang mapalit sa imo, kay daghan man mo na maligya. Pero kung ikaw ra gani isa ang namaligya, so you are willing to sell more tungod kay gisolo ra manin. So expectations, no? Business consider future prices and economic conditions. So when there is a foreseen increase, for example, of a raw material of that certain goods or service, so they supply more, no? And kaning resource cost of production, kaning mga materials, labor, no? Kumutaas ang presyo sa labor, ang tendency, the business entities will supply less. So, kay mahal naman. So, diri na to makita, no? That there are several factors that will change the demand for the goods other than prices. So, example, kaning example, let's say, for the gadget, let's say, naay improvement sa technology. Subot pasabot, mas paspas na sila makahimo og cellphone. So, or gadget. When there is improvement in technology, what happens? Diba at price 5, they are just willing to supply 10. Pero karon because there is there is improvement in technology that increases their capacity to produce, at price 5 they can supply at least 12. What happens? It shifted the supply curve to the right. No, ganina ang increase in demand shifted the supply curve to the left. Karon the increase in supply shifted the supply curve to the right. How about if there is a decrease in supply? So, other than price, no? Makita ninyo ang change in the curve is not within the original supply curve, but na-arise nga new supply curve. Nga naman, because the decrease in supply is not because of the price, but because of other factors, katong stoner. So suppose that a large number of gadget producers go out of business, decreasing the number of suppliers. So pag decrease sa number of suppliers, ang nahitabo, it also decrease the supply side. So changes in any of the factors other than price causes the supply curve to shift either. So kung decrease sa supply, it shifts to the left, no? Less supplied at each price. No, kana. Decrease sa supply, kung makita ninyo, kani mo ni ang original supply curve, because there is a decrease in supply due to factors other than prices, it decreases to the left. On the increase side pod, no? If we increase the supply, it shifted to the right, no? To the right pod. So mo nang to the right. So, no, these are the summary, no? Kung ang cost of resources fall, meaning mubarato ang mga factors of production, the amount of supply increases. So pag mo increase ang supply, shifts to the right. So kung kabaligtaran pod, kung mumahal sa mga resources, maubos ang supply. Pag maubos ang supply, shift to the left. Productivity, so na diha, no? New technology, higher taxes, and their effect on the supply curve. So take note of what happens to the supply curve, because in the exam you might be asked to graph, no? So karon we will combine the supply and demand principles. Why? because markets brings buyers and sellers together, no? Walay demand kung walay nag-supply. In the same way, wala say supply kung walay nanginahanglan. The forces of demand or of supply and demand work together in markets to establish the prices. Because of the supply and demand mechanism that is existing in our economy, prices are established, no? In our economy, prices form the basis of economic decision, no? Basically, people decide based on prices, but not on prices absolutely, no? Dili lang on prices, also with other factors. So, kung tanawon, what happens? Sige. Atong i-combine ang supply and demand schedule. Tanawag na po ko. Sige. Mary Joy Yonson. Wala. Tulog na. Nicoyan Di Guzman. Sorry.
Sir.
Okay. Nicoyan. Kung sa ganito, review ta. Review ta sa law of demand. Sa law of demand, as price increases, what happens to the quantity demanded?
Increase sir.
Ha? Tanawa. Tanawa. Decrease. On the other side, sa law of supply, as price increases, what happens to the supply side? Quantity supplied? Unsa man siya, ni-increase, ni-decrease. Nagka-increase ang presyo, unsa man ang quantity supplied?
Increase sir, ang daghan.
Ni-increase pod. Very good. So, when we put these two graphs together, thank you. Kung atong ibutang ning duha together, no? The supply curve and the demand curve in one graph, muna atong makita. So makita ninyo, I don't know if maklaro, kani nga side, kani, mo ni ang demand curve, no? Kung tanaw ninyo, demand 5, 2, 4, 4, 3, 6, 2, 8, no? Mo ni 5, 2, 4, 4, no? 3, 6. And then, the supply curve is kaning sloping upward to the right. Kaning demand curve sloping downward to the right. So, sige, mangutana ko. Recall, Bonador,
Yes, sir.
what have you observed in the graph as we combine the supply and demand curve?
Nang naa sila point nga nagka-equal sila, sir ba?
Okay, na sila'y point nga nagka-meet
Nag-intersect
sila,
kayo?
no? Oh,
May
yes. A point that intersects.
equilibrium.
Okay. Kabalo ng demo ani. So, kaning point sa to nga that they meet or that they intersect with one another, this is what we call market equilibrium. Market equilibrium is the situation in the supply and demand curves wherein quantity demanded is equal to the quantity supplied. So, let us also see the other sides, no? Kung nai equal na po yung other sides nga wala sila nagka-equal. So, unsa man a surplus. Unsa man ang surplus? Reynolds. Unsa man ang surplus? Pag maingon ka, nami surplus karon. Unsay bot pasabot? Wala si Reynolds. O kani si Carl Vincent, kaning parehan akong pangalan. Unsa may pasabot anang surplus long? Kaya po natulog ni. Jezreel.
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you hear the word surplus, what does it mean? In your own opinion, kanang inyong imong kaugalingon words, pag makadugag surplus, unsa may una mo abot sa imong una-una?
Surplus, sir, kanang sa ngalan na ning hindi siya quality. Quantity.
Hindi siya
Is
quality. So, pag may kag pag sa business, pag may kag naay surplus karon, unsay pasabot? Ginansya lugi.
kanang kuan sa
Amount.
ginansya, sir.
Yes. Thank you. A surplus is the amount by which the quantity supplied is higher than the quantity demanded. So, unsa may pasabot when there is a surplus? A surplus signals that price is too high. Why? Anong too high man? Because buyers
Quantity, sir.
buyers are not willing to buy, no? At a certain supply level, no? Dili man ganahan sa mga buyers paliton tungod kay taas kayo ang presyo. Munang na surplus, no? At that price, consumers will not buy all of the product that suppliers are willing to supply. So at this level, kung na surplus, maybe ang makapalit lang those who have enough. No, those who have enough in their those nga naay enough nga kwarta, no? Naay enough nga means to purchase. In a competitive market, a surplus will not last. So, in a perfect competitive market where buyers and sellers interact, no? In a perfect competition, no? What happens is that sellers will lower the price to sell their goods. Para mahurot ilang goods, ilang paubsan ang presyo. So let's take a look at, no? Ato makita diri sa graph, no? That when the price is 4, the quantity demanded is when the price is 4, the quantity demanded is 4. But tanaw na to, when the price is 4, the quantity supplied is 4. So therefore, pila ang surplus? Sterile. Pila ang surplus sa quantity? Pila'y sobra sa quantity nga gisupply? Okay guys, pila'y sobra?
Upat.
Upat. Upat. Kaya nga naman, at same price, no? At same price, buyers are willing, at a price of 4, buyers are willing to buy 4 gadgets. At a price of 4, sellers are willing to supply 8 gadgets. So what will happen? Ang mahitabuan ni, in the market, mahalin ang upat manubra. So mahitabo, sa may response sa seller, kay sobra man ang ilahang supply, ang possible response is that ilang paubsan ang ilang presyo, no? Para mahalin ang ilahang goods. So, ang opposite sa surplus is a shortage, no? Is the amount by which the quantity demanded is higher than the quantity supplied. So, ganina, kung ang surplus, nag-ingon nga price is too high, a shortage signals that price is too low, no? At that price, supplier will not supply all the product that consumers are willing to buy, no? Daghan kaayo og buyers pero gamay ra ang supply. In a competitive market, no? In a perfect competition market, no? But pasabot katong i-explain ako last meeting, ang perfect competition where there are many buyers and sellers in a market, a shortage will not last. So ang mahitabo, ilang patasan, ilang presyo, no? To level off. So, kita ninyo diya sa graph, no? At price 2, the quantity supplied is 4. But at price 2, the quantity demanded is 8. So kulang og upat gihapon, no? Shortage of 4 gadgets. So unsay buhaton sa supplier? Or unsay buhaton sa unsay buhaton sa buyer? Mag-ilog ni sila, no? Munang kinahanglan ang supplier iyang patasan ang presyo. When operating without restriction, buot pasabot, kung walay mga government intervention, walay mga market market barriers, no? No restriction. Walay government intervention. Our market economy eliminates shortages and surpluses. But pasabot, our market economy would tend to heal itself to eliminate shortage and surpluses. Ngano man? Because buyers and sellers will always come to a point that they would agree the price and the quantity supplied and the quantity demanded. Over time, a surplus, kung na surplus, may tabo, it would bring price down. And if there is shortage, it would force the price to go up until moabot ang time nga the supply and demand are balanced. So yung ganina, the point where they achieve balance, na equal ang quantity supplied and quantity demanded at a certain price, ang tawag adto is equilibrium price. At this price, there is neither a surplus nor a shortage. Once the market reaches equilibrium, kung ano siya sa equilibrium, it would stay there, no? It would stay there until either supply or demand changes. When that happens, a temporary surplus or shortage occurs until price adjusts to a new price equilibrium. So kung ma-move ang equilibrium due to some factors, it would change until it goes or moabot ra pud siya sa point nga ma-equilibrium siya og balik, no? So this is, no? Kanina atong giingon at price 3, at price 3, the demand and supply is 6. So we call that equilibrium price. So no? Dali balik na. So, any question? Nabay mga pangutana? Pakikuan ko kay I would check again the attendance. Ayaw sa din mukhawa after I finish my discussion because I would be checking the attendance again. So please rename your names. Kani si Android, Blue Droid, wow, kailaan ni. Sa mani. Pwede magbutang po og schedule kung you're from 6 to 7:30. Please, paki-rename ko with schedule so that I can easily check the attendance. So is there any question? So kung walay question, here is your assignment. On a one whole sheet of paper, no? You answer this 6 questions, no? On a one whole sheet of paper niya, one whole sheet of paper. So in your own words and based what you have learned from this discussion, number 1, define the law of demand, no? Define the law of supply. Describe these terms in your own words and make sure to include an explanation of the relationship between price and quantity. Number 2, when prices change, how is that reflected on a given supply or demand curve? For instance, if the price of a particular chocolate bar increases, will demand or quantity change? Explain. Then, list the determinants of demand. What determines demand? And list the determinants of supply. Number 5, what happens to a given supply or demand curve if one of the determinants of supply or demand change? Using one of the determinants you listed for question 3 and 4, provide an example for demand and another one for supply. And illustrate these examples by drawing correctly labeled graphs. Do not use the examples from the infographic. Ayaw paggamit sa examples kanan. Then number 6, define market equilibrium and explain how it is determined. So this is your assignment in a one whole sheet of paper. This will be due on Tuesday next week. And on Friday, we will have our exam. So, paki-change ko palihog sa inyuhang mga pangalan. Sa inyuhang mga pangalan with schedule, please. Mag-check na lang isa. Ako i-send akong slide sa ano, I will send my slide to the GC as well as the recording for this session. So, sige. We will not admit anymore. Wala gid nag-change ba? Natulog na gid yung uban.
Taon man ni pag-change, sir.
Lokang name.
Tuplokar na yung pangalan.
Ako lang i-send sa ano.
Name ba yun?
Sa palit, upper right side.
Okay, so tapos mga pangutana na ay mga questions, anything?
None, sir.
Sir, pwede ba daw ipasend ang PPT sa GC, sir?
Oh, pwede.
Thank you,
Sir,
sir.
Good evening, sir.
Yep. Yes.
Follow me dire, sir. Mapalo.
Then can I see you? Turn on your video.
Okay, sir.
June 26 ipas ang assignment, sir.
So, June 26. September 26.
September 26 tayo na wrong.
Maraming dalo, sir.
Nag-inom gina sila.
Naka, mga gwapo.
Okay, so see you on ipas ang assignment on 26 and then on 29 we will have our exam. Okay?
Sir. Thank you,
Itong
sir.
video, sir. Ano sa mo to, sir? Tuesday mo to,
Sir.
sir, no? Itong
Oh,
video ba?
Tuesday. Ang video Tuesday po.
Asa mo to i-send, sir? Naay Facebook group. I will send it on Tuesday.
Sir,
On
excuse
Monday
me.
na lang.
Okay,
Yes.
sir. Okay, sir.
Sir, katong walay grupo, sir, baka absent.
Ipalista biya mo, di ba?
Wala ko kabalo, sir. Unsa ko nga group, sir?
Lagi, ipalista biya mo, di ba? Sa GC kung kinsa tong walay mga groups.
Ay, okay, sir. Wala ko kabantay, sir. Sorry, sir.
Oh. So,
Yes, sir. Thank you.
pag nahuman naman siguro, basin mag-solo na lang ka, sir. Kaya pag nahuman na sila.
Ayaw, but sir.
So, yeah, I think that's all for tonight, no?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, basin walay klase pagka September 29, sir, ba? Kay Pesta man na, dali sa nasipit, sir. Basin lang, sir. Nanay memo, sir.
Wa pa ko basa og memo. So, kung
Okay.
walay klase sa September 29, i-move na to.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So, I hope nga na-feel ninyo nga estudyante mo karon